Alright, guys, what's back for another Dark Knight video on the channel. Today we're going to be debunking why Vegito Blue dominates Kefla by Revolushane. And I've watched a lot of Revolutions, not a lot, but I've watched his things with Seth, and from what I've seen, he's not really the best debater, to put it, to say the least, but he's still a debater. Someone DM'd me on Discord that this proves definitively that Vegito Blue beats Kefla. And it's the first time I'm actually, not the first time, but I've watched it, and I'm going to debunk it with you guys. You guys are going to watch it with me, and I'm going to debunk it while I'm watching it with you guys. No script, no nothing. I usually prepare for videos. This time I'm going to go straight in, no prep. This is my first recording of this too, so you know what? Let's just see how it goes. Let's just hop right in.
Hello guys, it's Revolushane. So, in Dragon Ball Super, we saw the return of the most powerful character from Dragon Ball Z. Come the end of Dragon Ball Z, the most powerful character to have made an appearance was Vegito, especially with his Super Saiyan form, often called Super Vegito. Yet despite being far greater than any version of Majin Buu that we saw, including Buhan, after the God of Destruction Beerus flicked Goku into unconsciousness in episode 5, Goku stated that even fusion wouldn't be enough to take the God of Destruction down, potentially meaning a hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 Vegito. However, fusion is dependent on the two fusees that are fusing, and obviously Goku and Vegeta came a long way since the Buu saga in the Future Trunks saga, using Potara fusion yet again to fight against the first Potara fused enemy, Merge Zamasu, who just also happened to be somewhat immortal. However, Potara fusion got heavily nerfed in this arc. It was completely retconned. It now has a time limit. Regardless, Vegito bust out.
Okay, so I just want to say for once that the Potara has never been retconned. What happened in the Buu saga is that they never knew why they defused in the first place. So, Okai was like, oh, maybe they were Okai thought it was permanent. And Goku and Vegeta were like, oh, maybe we're inside Buu. It was never confirmed that it was because they were inside Buu. It was never to confirm that. It was just clarified by Gowasu that it was because Kai was involved. They gave an actual explanation, whereas in Dragon Ball Z, nothing was confirmed as to why they defused. So that's not a whatchamacallit. That's not a retcon. That's not retcon. It's just clarification, more like it. So Potara was never nerfed. It was never retconned. It was just clarity.
Super Saiyan Blue, and is arguably one of the strongest mortals that we have seen in Dragon Ball Super. But that wouldn't be the last Potara fusion we saw in Dragon Ball Super. Come the Tournament of Power, upon almost being eliminated by Super Saiyan God Goku, Kale and Kefla fused to form Kefla, who was capable of wielding Super Saiyan 2, potentially Super Saiyan Berserk. Now, Kefla wasn't a particularly popular character. I personally liked her character. I really enjoyed the fight with her against Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku. But in terms of scaling Kefla, there are two massively different ends of the spectrum. You've got some people believing that she's at Buu Saga fusion levels, and then you've got some people who are saying that she's stronger than Vegito Blue. So that's what we're going to be discussing in this video.
Wait. I just want to clarify. If you guys ever seen this, before, tell me in the comments. But have people really said that Kefla isn't even Buu Saga level? Have they watched Dragon Ball Z? I mean, that doesn't really make sense at all. I feel like anyone that has watched the show would know that she's definitely way above that, and even in her base form. So that's definitely a little bit strange, to say the least.
Just before I continue, I want to know your thoughts on this. How strong
this image? Why is it so bad in quality?
Power post Dragon Ball Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Vegito be? Get the time limit.
Why is it so bad? What the hell?
His raw power would be. Would it be
damn, Revolution? You gotta get better quality.
Master Ultra Instinct Goku, or even possibly Angel level? Drop your thoughts down in the comments section. So, first off, I just want to say, if you actually do
I don't
think
like that art
Kefla
video, but
is
I'm not
around
even cap.
Buu Saga tier levels, get out. This video is not for you. She clearly competed with Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku in episode 116, and it was heavily implied that in terms of raw power alone, Kefla had the advantage. Obviously, Goku having Ultra Instinct and mastery of self-movement, Kefla couldn't land a single blow on Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku, and eventually he managed to push her off the stage using the Kamehameha at point-blank range. Pretty damn epic. However, Kefla is no joke in terms of power. Even against Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, despite him being fatigued somewhat, don't know what degree of Kaioken he was using.
Fatigue doesn't mean anything. I've proved that in my last slides. I mean, it does mean something, but it doesn't necessarily. Sorry. Having less stamina doesn't necessarily make you weaker, right? I proved that in my last video with Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, stuff like that. Like how he after the final explosion, blah blah blah. I've proved that already. Having less stamina doesn't necessarily make you weaker. All right. And Goku was recovering energy over time, so he wasn't as fatigued as definitely like compared to Vegeta in that moment. He wasn't as fatigued as that. He was definitely recovering energy. He was building up like the more. That's why he literally said to the Kefla was like, "Oh, I need time to build up," and he built up all the way to Super Saiyan Blue. Even Kaioken. So he's not. I feel like people exaggerate that argument a lot. But anyway, let's just move on.
Using, but he was seen powering up quite a few times during that fight. And considering Whis went on to state that Super Saiyan Kefla was relative to the Universal Spirit Bomb that we saw in the Dragon Ball Super Specials, then it's safe to say he was probably at Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Even so, Kefla would at least double that power by transforming into a Super Saiyan 2, meaning that she would be at least twice as strong as that Universal Spirit Bomb from the Dragon Ball Super Specials. And then, of course, you could also argue that she may have been using the Berserker form that Kale demonstrated earlier in the tournament. However, it must be said it's never been stated anywhere that she was using the Berserker form. It's only ever been stated that she was using Super Saiyan 2.
So the only reason why it's questioned is because Kaba said it was like Super Saiyan 2. I think maybe Vados might have said it too. I don't know. But the thing is, Kaba never commented on when Kale mastered the Berserk like Super Saiyan form, right? When she mastered it, all Universe 7 fighters were like commenting on it, and yet like not one word for Kaba. Like, did Kaba just not see it, or like what's going on there, Kaba? I mean, it's possible to go Legendary Super Saiyan 2, so that's what this is. This literally matches the hair of Berserk Super Saiyan. Like, it's not even like where like Kale's like little yellow C type Super Saiyan. It's not even that. It's like full on dark green. So I can see why a lot of people think it's Berserk Super Saiyan 2. I even think it's Berserk Super Saiyan 2. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, that's true. It's never been confirmed, like completely stated that it's Berserk Super Saiyan 2. It's only, you can only get that from like what details. Anyways, alright, let's go back in the video.
Personally believe she probably was using the Berserk form. It cannot be inserted until we get that substantial evidence. But as I said, she was quite clearly competing with Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku, tanking many of his hits, pretty much laughing off.
Okay, now this is where we get our first contradiction of what he's saying. He's saying she tanked many of his hits. No, only one. It was a shockwave that Goku fired, and when he fired that shockwave, he even admitted to doing like he could do even better. And this is like shown right after as he speed blitz Kefla, he pummels her in the stomach, and she has trouble just trying to get up after attack. And after that, he like swoops in on Kefla, and Kefla has to guard with her arm, and like she like has to bend her arm, and then Goku's extending his full arm, and he's like pushing. He's like Kefla's struggling just to hold his arm. So if Kefla, and the reason why you could tell is because she's bending her arm to try to guard the blow, right? If she was able to withstand the strength, she should have at least been able to, catch the punch with her arm and extend her arm like completely like straight. But like when you can't handle the strength of something, you have to bend your arm, right? So that's exactly why she couldn't try to match UI Goku's blow with her own punch, because she wasn't strong enough for that. She had to, bend her arm for it. Like just how like if you're not strong enough to pick up something, you have to bend your arm to pick up that thing, right? I know if this sounds a little bit confusing, please tell me in the comments. But TLDR, Kefla, right after UI Goku said that, like she was getting completely mollywopped. All right, both strength and speed wise.
Phase 2 Goku's hits. It was even stated that if one of Kefla's last ditch attempt attacks hit Goku at the end, it would have killed him, even in Ultra Instinct's Omen Phase 2. Obviously it didn't hit him because, well, Ultra Instinct. We also know from Goku's fight against Awakened Jiren, even with Mastered Ultra Instinct, that if an opponent is far faster and stronger and intelligent enough to use Ultra Instinct,
yeah, Shane's taking a little bit to get to his point.
So even if Kefla was stronger than Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2, it wasn't a great deal stronger. Nonetheless, for Kefla to be at Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 levels is still pretty damn impressive, and I did make a video explaining why Kefla's power actually makes sense.
Okay, so right here, I just want to say personally that it's not that people disagree with Kefla's strength. Her strength makes perfect sense. It's Kefla and Kale's strength. They got in so many plot boosts, and I understand why. They wanted to make a character strong enough to force Goku into going UI again right before he fights Jiren for his final time, with his final debut and stuff like that. It makes sense why they did it. It's just in my opinion, it's just a little bit of a weird writing strategy, and a lot of people hated Kefla and Kale for that, for the way that they just act toward each other. Like, it was kind of weird. It was almost as bad as the Universe 2 stuff. Rebrand, the day I saw Rebrand get knocked out, it was the happiest day of my life. But I feel like Kefla and Kale were, a little bit annoying in that sense. It's not Kefla's, necessarily Kefla's fault.
The two fusees of Kefla and talk about why they are so powerful individually and why together Kefla makes an extraordinarily powerful Potara fusion. That video is called Why Kefla's Power Makes Sense and is Stronger Than You Think. I'll link at the end of this video. So we kind of know where Kefla's power is in relevance to at least Ultra Instinct Goku, but where does Vegito Blue from the Future Trunks saga lie in relevance to Tournament of Power characters? Well, of course, in the anime, we didn't really get that much indication on where Vegito Blue's power lied in relevance to, say, somebody like Beerus. There was one point where Shin exclaimed that Merge Zamasu's power was beyond anything he'd ever seen, but does he know Beerus' full power? That's definitely questionable, and obviously Vegito Blue was even stronger than Merge Zamasu.
Depends which Merge Zamasu you're talking about.
Dragon Ball Super, we actually get a statement on how strong Vegito Blue is, and whilst using the final Kamehameha, and that's an important note, the fact that he used the final Kamehameha, a move that uses two techniques that are both power amplifying techniques, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. Shin states that Vegito Blue hadn't just caught Beerus, but had surpassed Beerus. Now, obviously, that's the manga of Dragon Ball Super. It's a different continuity from the anime.
Okay, so he does admit right here that the manga is a bit different from the anime, which, I do respect, but either way, bringing it up is kind of a little bit weird considering you're talking about the anime Kefla. If you was talking about both the manga and anime Kefla, it makes sense to bring this up, but this, the manga and anime, they're written by different writers, right? Toriyama just gives them the plot line for how he wants the arc to be like. It's written by different writers completely, so they're different, like, continuities. It's like with Superman, he has, like, many different writers, right? That's why his power is so inconsistent. It's the same thing here, except it's only two different versions, the manga and the anime. There are different, continuities, which is why technically with Dragon Ball Super, there's really no filler with it, because it doesn't have a manga, right? So, but anyways, this statement right here, when I read it, it did not say this. It said Supreme Kai was, like, questioning whether or not he surpassed Beerus. Like, oh, did he possibly surpass even Lord Beerus? And there was, like, even an interview out there that Toyotaro said that, oh, he may surpass Beerus, he may not. Who knows? You have to read the next, chapters to find out if he really did or not. That's so, like, both an interview and the one that I read said that it was, like, questionably surpassing Beerus with the final Kamehameha. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But that's for the manga. For the anime, I'll get to it in a second why he. Well, let's just see where Shane goes with this.
Dragon Ball Super. They both receive bullet points in terms of the narrative through line and conclusion from Akira Toriyama, but they use different plot devices.
I just don't like how Zamasu's throwing blocks right there. So weird.
But that does seem to be stopping in the Tournament of Power, as Toriyama has actually stated that in the Tournament of Power, the manga will be taking a different direction from the anime. Now, a big debate in the power scaling community right now is whether you can use the Dragon Ball Super manga as a secondary source for the anime. The anime doesn't explain something, as they generally share the same lore. I'd like to know your opinions on this. Drop your thoughts.
All right, yeah, like I said,
section.
Different writers, you cannot connect both of them together. There are different writers with different logics. Goku in the anime can stack Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue. In the manga, he cannot. Goku in the manga has to master Super Saiyan Blue, like perfect Super Saiyan Blue, PSSB, to use Super Saiyan Blue's 100% full power. Meanwhile, in anime, he can just use his full power on Super Saiyan Blue whenever he wants. Right? So there's definitely a big differences between the manga and the anime. And yeah, we see that a lot. All right, let's go back.
I know good power scalers that use it. I personally advocate it myself, but I also know good power scalers who don't feel you can use the manga as a secondary source for the anime. I respect both sets of opinions, but I'd like to know your thoughts. Even so, like I said, it was stated that Vegito Blue's power using the final Kamehameha had surpassed a fully powered Beerus. However, I believe that there is evidence, not directly, but indirectly throughout the anime.
Okay, wait. They used to say indirectly. Okay, because that's funny because there was, like, a bit ago where I think it was, like, this interview with, like, Toyotaro, or, like, I think it was Toyotaro, maybe it was Toriyama or something, I don't know, but, like, that said, if you don't see something that's, like, directly stated or directly shown, it comes from yourself, meaning, like, it's your own headcanon, right? And that would exactly, qualify for this. Let's just see what he refers to with indirectly, because, I mean, indirectly can mean many things. Let's see what he means, all right? I'm going to give Shane a chance here, you know what I'm saying?
power would lie as well. Now we're talking about raw power here. Obviously Vegito Blue's transformation or fusion, you could say, doesn't last very long, so against somebody that's relative to him in power, it won't be that useful. But obviously Kefla is a Potara fused warrior as well. So basically in the anime of Dragon Ball Super, when we see Goku having the spirit bomb struggle with Jiren, people often use Shin's statements as an indication that Jiren at that point had surpassed Merge Zamasu. Now this was a heavily suppressed Jiren. However, what people don't recognize is that Jiren actually powered up quite a few times during that spirit bomb struggle. There was a bit of back and forth there. Don't get me wrong, Jiren was holding back quite a lot, but he did put out more and more power as the struggle went on. So what I'm doing is I'm pointing out the timing of Shin's comments regarding Jiren's power. He didn't say it during the initial fight between suppressed Jiren and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku. He said it during the Spirit Bomb struggles. He said it after Goku amped up the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 and was literally losing to Jiren. So on that basis, you could say that Merge Zamasu was at least relative to the Spirit Bomb himself, give or take. Now, that's not anything to really be surprised.
Wait, what? No, that doesn't. You don't use timing of a statement to to power scale someone's power. That doesn't make any sense. That's like if I were to say that, like, if Goku were to fight like Final Form Frieza's, like, oh, Goku says right after he fires the Kaioken times 20 Kamehameha and damages Frieza, he says, oh wow, you're like, strongest guy I've ever fought. You're different from anyone else. So is people like Captain Ginyu relative to that Kaioken Kamehameha? No, that doesn't make any sense. All right. Also, that statement from the Kaioshin can mean many different things. I mean, that statement, he's talking about Jiren's like power in general, right? He's talking about like he was observing the entire fight. It's like, oh wow, this from what we've seen, like Jiren's power is on a whole nother league, right? He's acting like Jiren just surpassed like corrupted Zamasu, like when pushing back the Spirit Bomb, right? He could have put a lot more power before that, like the beginning of the fight, like not before like Jiren just flexed his muscles and like he shook the entire world of Void, and Beerus was like crapping himself at his power. And meanwhile with like Infinite Zamasu, he was like, that's nothing, right? But Jiren flexing his muscles, oh, that's something right there. That's something right there. And we can go even further with that, with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, when he fought Jiren, he says, oh, I never felt someone like as strong as this before. Yet he surpasses that Jiren, right? That suppressed Jiren, and he makes Jiren use more of his power, right? That's not even with the Final Flash. So is Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta stronger than corrupted Zamasu and the Spirit Bomb? By that logic, I mean, that's not that we can't use statements to do that. And plus, that's like just a statement. I've proved, like, with feats are greater than statements, by the way. And I've proved with feats that Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta wouldn't be stronger than UI Only One Goku, which if you guys want to see the video, I will leave in the description. But it just doesn't like make sense. Like, that statement isn't definitively saying, oh, corrupted Zamasu is equal to the Spirit Bomb, right? That statement can mean different like things. It can mean like what I said. He was talking about Jiren's general strength, where he was like outputting the entire time. Timing of a statement doesn't mean he was talking about that specific moment. He could have been talking about the entire time Jiren was fighting like Goku, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm proving that, the timing, like corrupted Zamasu being a Spirit Bomb level, that isn't really definitive. That statement doesn't really definitively back that up, right? So like could be different reasons as to why, like the Supreme Kai said that statement. He could have been talking about his general power, not his power in that moment, right? So it's not definitively, right? Whereas with feats, from what I've shown, is definitive. It's proof. This is just headcanon. Shane's saying what he thinks it means. He's not saying what it definitively means, because I could bet you right now that I would bet on that, like, that he cannot prove 100% that that's what that means, right? You cannot use that in debate because it's not definitive. We're not sure if, like, corrupted Zamasu, relative to the Spirit Bomb. We just don't know, even with that statement, right? It's not definitive, and that statement could have different meanings, which is why it's not really hardcore proof. Now, if he backs up his entire argument on this statement that's not even like backed up, like quote unquote indirectly proving Vegito Blue, then his entire argument is gonna fall in this video right now. I'm telling you guys that right now his entire argument is about to fall if he backs this up on this statement.
about, Merge Zamasu was once again a Katara fusion. Goku Black was pretty damn powerful himself, and obviously Zamasu brought the immortality factor, and obviously against Vegito, who was indicated to be far stronger than him in the manga, and even in interviews was suggested to be far stronger than Merge Zamasu. The depiction of Vegito Blue versus Merge Zamasu in the anime was a far closer fight than that of the manga, which has led to some people believing that they were far closer in power. Now, that might be the case, but what you also have to take into account is Zamasu's immortality. Sure, it was breaking down over time, it was decaying, but it was still an equalizer to Vegito's superior strength. There are even moments where Vegito was mocking Merge Zamasu's
Okay, so
strength.
one right here, right after he says that, Merge Zamasu just blows him away completely. Like with his like freaking eye or something. I don't even know exactly how he blew him away. Second of all, that was before corrupted Zamasu started to increase his body in power, right? Like right after he gave his like little speech to Vegito and started like crying tears for some weird reason. He started to increase his body mass and increase his strength, right? We've seen that with Cell, right? Where they increase their strength via like by increasing their own body, but they slow themselves down, which is exactly what happened to Zamasu here. He wasn't able to keep up with Vegito Blue's speed, whereas before he could decently keep up with his speed, right? The beginning of the fight, Crypto Zamasu straight up admitted that he was like Vegito Blue was stronger, but towards the end, it doesn't matter like how like badly like how little immortality he has. He still has a little bit of immortality. He was still able to tank Vegito Blue's final Kamehameha, but like the point of that weakened regeneration statement by Gawasu is that it was stating that it's possible to get an attack powerful enough to permanently damage and take out Corrupted Zamasu. Vegito Blue could not do that. He could not. Vegito Blue was not able to produce an attack powerful enough to take out Corrupted Zamasu, even with the final Kamehameha, which key attacks are greatly stronger than punches. And even with the final Kamehameha, he couldn't do it. Even with his punch to the face, like that little punch that caused smoke, he's probably gonna mention it. That didn't cause permanent damage, but yet when Trunks absorbs the Spirit Bomb, right, and he pierces Zamasu just one time with it, just one time, he causes like this little white gooey stuff to come out. He actually does permanently damage Corrupted Zamasu in his weakened regeneration, right? So that just goes to prove feat-wise that that Rage Trunks absorbed the Spirit Bomb was able to put out more power than Vegito Blue, and therefore he is stronger than Vegito Blue in that aspect, right? And that makes sense because absorbing the Spirit Bomb is a very big exponential increase. What doesn't make sense about that is why that Spirit Bomb was so goddamn strong with only a couple Earthlings and Goku and Vegeta. But you know what? That's a debate for another day.
If Merge Zamasu was immortal and didn't have immortality, when Vegito stuck the Spirit Sword through Zamasu's chest, if Zamasu was mortal,
Alright, this proves my point even further. Vegito Blue struck Zamasu in the chest. There's no permanent damage here at all. He like literally crushes this like in a couple seconds. Whereas with Trunks with his Spirit Bomb sword, he was able to completely like cause some white gooey stuff to come out, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like that just goes more to proof that Trunks' Spirit Bomb sword is stronger than Vegito Blue.
The final Kamehameha would most likely have done him in as well, but obviously it was immortal, and it was sort of implied that after Vegito landed that key punch and we saw smoke literally coming from Merge Zamasu's face, that one or two more hits after that would have finished the job.
It wasn't. Well, not yes and no. But at the same time, from what we've seen of Vegito Blue, he thought that punch was going to finish it in general. He's like, oh, this is going to finish it. And then he punches Zamasu in the face, right? And the final command, he said that with the final command too, I believe, and it didn't finish the job. Like I said, Vegito Blue was not able to produce an attack that was strong enough, like Gawasu said, that needed to be done to permanently damage like Corrupted Zamasu, like with his weakened regeneration. But Trunks was. I want to see if he even mentions like Spirit Bomb Rage Trunks.
Obviously they diffused, and ultimately Future Trunks picked up where they left off and literally finished off a decaying immortality Merge Zamasu. It also must be noted that at that point Merge Zamasu had more potent Zenkai and adaptation abilities than Vegito, as it was implied when Goku fought against Goku Black that Goku Black...
Okay, so he does mention that, yes, Corrupted Zamasu was growing in power with Goku Black cells. Yes, that is true. He was also growing in power just in general, trying to increase his body mass, right? But, it still stands. Trunks able to permanently damage Corrupted Zamasu. Vegito Blue cannot with a final Kamehameha and a serious punch. So I think the only way you could say Vegito Blue is stronger than Trunks, Spirit Bomb wise, like absorb Spirit Bomb wise, is if you use like a headcanon argument that Vegito Blue was suppressed. Like, even though he said twice that he was going to finish it, implying he was putting as much power as he possibly could, right? So like it just doesn't make sense. Like if you want to, like, that's the only argument you could do is like, you know, suppress headcanon argument, which, you know, obviously isn't going to get you anywhere.
Tenkai boost due to him having a new Saiyan body. I mean, Merge Masu literally struck himself on purpose with the lightning of absolution just to make himself stronger because he knew he would instantly heal due to his immortality, even though at that point the immortality was beginning to decay. So looking at Shin's statements in the Tournaments of Power,
Still using Shin's statements. I knew it.
Regarding Jiren's power in comparison to anybody they've ever fought before, you could say that Merge Masu is somewhere around the Spirit Bomb level. So
you cannot say that.
Kefla, due to Whis' statements, obviously Kefla turned Super Saiyan 2, so she at least became twice as strong as that. We even saw her power up quite a few times as well, so maybe even a little bit stronger. But as stated before, even in terms of raw power, Vegito Blue was far stronger than Merge Masu as well. So it should come as no surprise.
All right, that's again, that's before. This is before Corruptus Zamasu started growing in power, right? So strength wise, we really like he tanked Vegito Blue's final Kamehameha with a weakened immortality, like a weakened regeneration, right? So we don't even know, like, was Corruptus Zamasu stronger than Vegito Blue? We don't really know, right? We just don't know. So let me. Yes, he's probably gonna say Vegito Blue's. You know, and you know what? Let me see what he does.
Least Ultra Instinct.
All right, Omen Phase 2. Yeah, now this is just him straight up assuming that because Corruptus Zamasu is at the Spirit Bomb level, Vegito Blue's Omen 2. That's just him straight up assuming his, like, Vegito Blue's power. That's just a straight up something that's straight up headcanon. Like, that's what that is. Because from UI Omen 1 Goku was stated to be stronger than a hypothetical Super Saiyan Blue Goku absorbing a Spirit Bomb, right? Like, he was able to, because we said not only did he absorb the Spirit Bomb, but he broke his limits on top of that, right? So, UI Omen, like, you saw how strong Rage Trunks got while he absorbed the Spirit Bomb, right? He was able to surpass Vegito Blue's attack potency, right? And, you know, UI Omen 1 Goku state is stronger than a Super Saiyan Blue Goku absorbing an even stronger Spirit Bomb. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see Vegito Blue he doesn't even, you know, like, he isn't even stronger than UI Omen 1 Goku. Why is he assuming that he would be UI Omen 2 level? Like, this is just a straight up assumption by Shane. So, I don't know why Shane is using headcanon here. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just not a fan of headcanon, man. Headcanon is literally what you think of it. It's like clear speculation. With debates like this, you do not use speculation.
Terms of raw power, and that would be lowballing Vegito Blue and saying he's only twice as strong as Merge Masu when it kind of came across like it was far stronger than that. Even though Merge Masu's immortality was decaying, it's pretty much irrelevant because even a decaying immortality is a pretty big equalizer to a superior power. So even at a low ball, Vegito Blue was at the very least Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 in Kefla levels. However, in episode 118, we stated that in order for Goku to achieve Ultra Instinct Omen again, that his shell was getting harder and harder to break. And it wasn't until Jiren triggered it in episode 128 that we saw Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3. So by that logic, Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 should be even stronger than
you'd be
Kefla,
correct.
which comes as no surprise as Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 was competing with fully powered Jiren, and Jiren wasn't that bothered by Kefla's strength. Now, an issue with the Jump magazine stated that fully powered Beerus was relevant to Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku. It uses the Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 picture from episode 129. It could potentially be Mastered Ultra Instinct as Goku achieved Mastered Ultra Instinct in that episode, but we at least know it's definitely Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 as it used that picture. After all, Beerus seemed pretty challenged by Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2, so if Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 granted Goku
goddamn, Shane, you're about to hit me with an ad.
It would be no surprise really that
God damn it. Shane's making money off me with his headcanon. Alright. That was a weird fake laugh, by the way. Please don't.
Somewhat relevant to Beerus. So, as I said, even at a level, Vegito Blue should at least be at Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 levels, and even Kefla Super Saiyan 2 level. You could make a case for him being Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 levels. He wouldn't be that far off, put it that way. Factor in the final Kamehameha, a technique that's made up of two techniques that are power amping techniques, the Final Flash and the Kamehameha. The Kamehameha has been known on occasion to at least double Goku's strength, and the Final Flash is an even stronger move than that. I've done a video on what's the stronger move between the Kamehameha and the Final Flash. Make sure you check it out if you haven't seen it. Well, the Final Kamehameha is a hybrid of both, so it would amp Vegito's power massively, and it was ultimately that move that caused him to defuse so early in both the anime and the manga. So given that Shin's statements in the manga were whilst Vegito was amping up the final Kamehameha, and that was what triggered Shin to say that he may have surpassed even Beerus, then if he used that in the manga as well, which he did, it would have amped his power as well. So it should come as no surprise that in terms of raw power, that Vegito is in the ballpark of fully powered Jiren, fully powered Beerus, and Ultra Instincts.
Okay, now you're saying straight up that a final command. Okay, so by that logic, Rage Trunks with the Spirit Bomb sword has to be stronger than that. That has to be stronger than that. So are you saying Rage Trunks with the Spirit Bomb absorbed is like what, UI Goku level and like LB Jiren level, like Limit Breaker Jiren level? That doesn't make any sense, right? Because by your logic, if Vegito Blue with the final Kamehameha, if he is UI Omen 3 level, right? That means Absorb Spirit Bomb Trunks has to be stronger than that, because Absorb Spirit Bomb Trunks did more damage than that final Kamehameha could. Therefore, that Absorb Spirit Bomb Trunks has to be UI level and Limit Breaker Jiren. See, I don't believe that. That just doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because look, that Absorb Spirit Bomb Trunks has to be weaker than a hypothetical Super Saiyan Blue Tournament Power Absorb Spirit Bomb Goku, right? It has to be, because Goku has a stronger Spirit Bomb, and Super Saiyan Blue Goku was able to take out Fusamatsu on his own during a beam clash, while Trunks needed Vegeta's help, right? So Goku has a stronger power, and he has a stronger Spirit Bomb, so Goku would be stronger, right? Hypothetically absorb Spirit Bomb than Trunks's absorb Spirit Bomb state, right? And UI Omen 1 was stated stronger than that, so UI Omen 1 is stronger than UI Omen 3? No, that doesn't make any sense, Shane. Like, see, this is exactly what headcanon leads. It leads with these very weird statements. You gotta use feats. Feats take precedence over statements. It's like that. Like, you can say that you can beat up somebody, but then not be able to beat up that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, feats actually show what you can do, right? Statements, they're helpful in some cases, but they can be contradicted and they can be proven wrong.
Scaling methods, Vegito Blue is simply stronger than Kefla. Obviously, you have to factor in as well that Vegeta and Goku make up Vegito, two far more experienced fighters than Kefla and Kale. Vegito Blue would also be using God Ki, which is a far more potent form of energy than regular Ki, and can even use techniques such as the instant transmission. Obviously, some people will probably be asking the question, well, weren't Kefla and Kale stronger than Goku and Vegeta from the Future Trunks saga? Well, possibly. It's hard to gauge, really, because obviously in the Tournament of Power, Goku was far stronger than he was in the Future Trunks saga, and basically, even whilst fatigued, he was manhandling Super Saiyan Kefla, and eventually was able to compete at least somewhat with Super Saiyan 2 against both Kefla and Kale, and when turning Super Saiyan God, literally rinsed the both of them. In fact, Kefla and Kale were both in awe of Goku's Super Saiyan 3 transformation. Obviously, some people will probably be asking the question, well, weren't Kefla and Kale stronger than Goku and Vegeta from the Future Trunks saga? Well, possibly, but for Kefla to be equal to Vegito, she wouldn't just have to make up the difference between their base forms from the Future Trunks saga to the Tournament of Power. She'd have to make up the difference from the power difference between Berserk and Super Saiyan Blue, which is quite a big gap. Like I said, Goku's God transformation was far too much for Kale's Berserk transformation, so it's not quite as strong as Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan Blue is potentially 50 times that. So the difference between Berserk and Super Saiyan Blue is at least a 50 plus times difference. Or Kale and Kefla 50 plus times stronger than Goku and Vegeta from the Future Trunks saga.
Absolutely. You can prove that without a doubt. Because here's the thing, right? Super Saiyan God Goku fatigued was able to completely manhandle Kale, while a Super Saiyan Blue Goku being in tournament power, like with a Kamehameha, he couldn't even put a little scratch on Berserk Kale, right? And this Berserk Master Kale he's fighting was stated to be even stronger than the completely out of control Berserk Kale from before, right? See, that just doesn't make any sense. So, and what Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, originally she was being overwhelmed by base Goku, then she adapted to that base Goku. And then Goku went Super Saiyan 2 and overwhelmed her. And then she adapted to that Super Saiyan 2 Goku, right? And with Kale's mastered Legend, Berserk Super Saiyan state, they were completely manhandling Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Like, it wasn't even a question. And yet for Super Saiyan God Goku to be able to manhandle that Kale that's stronger. Meanwhile, with a Kamehameha, he couldn't even like put a dent in Berserk Kale, a weaker Berserk Kale, mind you. That would at least be 100 times difference, right? And we know Goku has Zenkai because Frieza giving him his energy, right? That's a Zenkai. That's a possible Zenkai right there, which we proved with feats. Super Saiyan God Goku completely manhandled, while Goku is like a 50 times form. Super Saiyan Blue was like 50 times stronger than Super Saiyan God. Times that by 2 because of the Kamehameha. So it has to be more than 100 times because 100 times wouldn't be enough to beat that Berserk Kale. It would have to be more than 100 times stronger. So yes, and so that means Super Saiyan 2 Kefla and Kale were fighting a Goku that was 100 times stronger than just beginning tournament power, right? So it's actually very possible that the Kefla and Kale in their base are more than 50 times stronger than these two in their base, right? It's actually very, very, very possible.
I have my doubts about that, but it is possible. But then you also have to factor in that whilst fighting against Kale and Kefla in the tournament's power, Goku was heavily fatigued, especially in the early rounds of the fight.
Like I said, fatigue doesn't mean anything. The more he was recovering his energy throughout that fight. That's why he was able to transform. Less stamina doesn't necessarily make you weaker. I already stated this in my last video. If you guys want to watch it, I will leave it in the description. Let's go back into the video.
Have Goku and Vegeta gotten more than 50 times stronger since the Future Trunks saga? Well,
I literally just proved how Goku got over 100 times stronger, so let's see what he says.
Goku from the God of Destruction tournament against the Assassin Hit, where he used Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10. Then in his rematch after the Future Trunks saga, after literally getting a pounding by Goku Black and Merge Zamasu, so if he was going to get a Zenkai boost, he would have got a big one. And that's ignoring the fact it was pretty much stated that Goku and Vegeta's Zenkai boosts aren't that great anymore. Based on the fact that Goku was able to fight the legendary Assassin Hit without Kaioken times 10, it does sort of suggest that Goku, between the God of Destruction tournament and the rematch with Hit, 10 times stronger.
No, Shane. Hit was stated to get stronger too. We don't even know how much stronger Hit got. And Goku, in like his Super Saiyan Blue, Goku actually got a Zenkai from dying from Hit, right? He nearly died. He recovered himself with the Energy Blast, right? And Goku was able to, in his Super Saiyan Blue, full power, he was able to completely demolish that shield. Not to mention that Zenkais, they're very inconsistent. You have Vegeta, somehow, I think in the Namek, you went from 23k, 24k to 28 to 30k. It's not even a 2 times increase. And then you have Goku going from 90k to 3 million. Zenkais, they're very inconsistent. You can't go by a consistent basis, right? They're not consistent at all. Plus, you don't even know if it's 10 times here. Hit got stronger too, so you would have to factor that in, and we don't know how much stronger Hit got, right? So we actually don't know, Shane, that it's a 10 times increase. That's completely headcanon.
Whilst a 10 times increase in power is actually quite impressive, it's nowhere close to the 50 times increase we're actually looking for.
Even if that was 10 times increase, we still get the over 100 times increase I said from earlier. That Goku in the fight versus Kefla and Kale is at least 100 times stronger than the beginning of tournament power.
From the rematch with Hit, but then it was suggested that he had stopped training. He did a bit of training with Master Roshi. He then had a few sparring matches in the Zen Exhibition match. Toppo pushed him a little bit, but before they got to full power, the Grand Prix stopped by. And obviously there's the events that happen in the Tournaments of Power, where some people try to advocate that he got an exponential growth throughout the Tournaments of Power. And I don't deny that he grew through the Tournament of Power, but some people's evaluations of how much he grew are getting a bit excessive.
I straight up just proved it, Shane, so I don't know what you're talking about.
A Zenkai or adaptation boost from the Goku and the Dragon Ball Super Specials against Jiren and Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1 to Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 against Kefla. Kefla's power in Super Saiyan, which was said to rival the Spirit Bomb, still knocks that Goku out. So depending on how much you rate that
doesn't mean anything, Shane. That could just mean a Universal Spirit Bomb just way stronger than all the Z fighters. That's Universal Spirit Bomb made even Margarita a little bit nervous, right? That just goes to prove how strong the Spirit Bomb is. That doesn't mean that he got a small Zenkai. That's not what it means at all, Shane.
It's as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Goku didn't get that much stronger with a Zenkai boost.
Even though, I just proved it. Yeah, we're just going to ignore that, okay.
Goku getting 100 plus times stronger.
I know, guys, you can't hear me.
Trunk Saga to the Tournament of Power. I just feel like we should be a bit careful on how much boost we should put on him, because until we get that information, at least confirming it, we really
I could say almost definitively that we do know how much stronger he got from the beginning of Tournament of Power to fighting Kefla and Kale by like at least over 100 times. All right, so that definitely fits your 50 times marker you want to meet.
So if you're going to say Goku and Vegeta got X times stronger, you need to have certified
Even though I do.
evidence suggesting that that was the case. It has to be beyond all reason, so you can assert that number.
Would feats do the job, Shane? The feats I stated, they're in. This is all explained in my last video, by the way. A lot of the stuff that I'm bringing up to debunk Shane's points, they're in my last video. So.
Evidence from a reliable source, i.e. feats.
So even admits feats are, reliable.
Interviews or guidebooks, then your calculations are essentially theoretical at the moment. They may be proved to be right further down the line, but as we speak, if you want to be able to assert something, you really need to have substantial evidence. So in conclusion, scaling of the Supreme Kai statements, which were timed,
which would be not even like, see, his entire argument, he's basing it off of Supreme Kai statement, which doesn't necessarily mean that Corrupted Zamasu is Spirit Bomb level. We don't know how much stronger Jiren's power was in that statement to compare to Corrupted Zamasu. We don't know. So yeah, Jiren was so strong though, he was controlling the Spirit Bomb with his eyes. All right. So Jiren, like, from that statement, Corrupted Zamasu could be stronger than this. Like, he could be weaker than the Spirit Bomb, right? He could be like, we don't know if he's Spirit Bomb level, right? Like, I could just say, like, I could, try to, like, debate that just meant, like, a general, like, a consensus of, like, his power, right? That just meant his general power, right? So, like, the power he was showing, when Beer started, like, getting scared, that, technically is above, like, that infinite Zamasu, to, the power he used against Goku. I mean, that could just mean he's comparing his, like, overall performance in that statement, not just a Spirit Bomb. So we don't know for sure what he's actually referring to, but all we know is that he's just complimenting his power, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so my point of that is that it's not concrete. Shane saying the statement is not concrete proof that Corrupted Zamasu is Spirit Bomb level. Meanwhile, my last video, which I'll link in the description, with concrete evidence, that video proves that UI Omen 1 Goku is above Rage Trunks, Spirit Bomb Zorb, who destroyed Corrupted Zamasu, which in turn would make him above Vegito Blue from the Future arc.
Spirit Bomb against Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku. Even if we say Merge Zamasu in terms of raw power is somewhat slightly weaker than that, by the time we've scaled Vegito up from Merge Zamasu, he should easily be at Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 levels and Kefla levels at a low ball, and even when we factor in the final Kamehameha.
Yeah, the final Kamehameha that Corrupted Zamasu tanked, yet Rage Trunks was able to put more power than that, and yet I proved that that's still weaker than Omen 1. Okay, Shane, okay.
Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 levels at least, which when you cross-reference the Jump magazine interview concerning Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 and Beerus at full power, as well as Jiren at full power as he fought against Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3, and the manga that stated using the final
using the manga to correlate to the anime.
Beerus, it suggests that the manga and the anime share the same lore in this very regard, concerning where Vegito Blue's
yeah, but the difference is between them, and it doesn't share the same lore. The difference is the manga, like, his final Kamehameha is questionably above Beerus. Meanwhile, the final Kamehameha in the anime is below Rage Trunks, and Rage Trunks, I proved in my last video, is below UI Omen 1 Goku. Right? So, and Beerus, by guides, is at least UI Omen 3 levels. So, Beerus would still be way above Vegito Blue.
Power between Kale and Kefla and Future Trunks Saga Goku and Vegeta. Kale and Kefla have a lot of ground to make up. While some people may have,
it's not even narrative, say that it's just literally just feats that Kefla and Kale, like Super Saiyan 2 Kefla was adapting to that same Goku, right? That, is over 100 times stronger, that I proved. At least over 100 times, right? Straight up. And that, crushes the ballpark for needing that 50 times. They have no ground to cover, right?
antagonist is more powerful than the previous antagonist. That is usually the case with the main antagonist of each arc, and that was proven correct with Jiren being more powerful than Merge Zamasu.
Oh, what's with this bad quality, Shane? What are you doing?
Lesser of the antagonists of each arc. Cell Juniors weren't stronger than Cell, Kid Buu wasn't stronger than Buhan, Kefla wasn't stronger than Jiren, you get the drift. Whilst Kefla was more powerful than Merge Zamasu in Super Saiyan 2, so was Vegito Blue. So for Kefla to even stand a chance against Vegito, you would need to make a case for Goku and Vegeta growing.
Oh, we did. I already made it, proof that he at least growed over 100 times, like, at least in one Zenkai from the tournament power.
From the Future Trunks saga to the tournament's power, and whilst I wouldn't rule that out, because let's face it, the creators behind Dragon Ball often just make new foes as they need to be for plot purposes.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It's like Kefla scales to, like, what, UI Omen 2 Goku? Meanwhile, like, Vegito Blue isn't even stronger than Rage Trunks, and that Rage Trunks, which I proved in my last video, isn't even stronger than UI Omen 1 Goku. That's just a clapping in the park. Kefla would destroy Vegito Blue from the future arc. Like, none of his arguments, his whole entire argument was based on that one statement, which doesn't even definitively prove that Corrupted Zamasu is Spirit Bond level, right? Like, come on now, Shane, you're a little bit better than this. I mean, actually, you're not better than this, but
as far as I'm aware, there's not sufficient evidence enough to assert that Goku and Vegeta got that strong in their bases alone. Back to the fact that Vegeta and Goku are far better fighters than Kefla and Kale.
Experience doesn't matter, and neither does moves when your opponent is way stronger than you. I just want to say that right now.
Vegito Blue would just dominate Kefla.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Shane, I'm gonna have to say the opposite. Feats wise, Kefla would completely dominate Vegito Blue. Let me look at the comments real quick. I want to see what they say. Your power scaling videos are way better than many. It wasn't even power scaling. He used this one statement which wasn't even definitively proving Corrupted Zamasu being Spirit Bond level. Kefla and Kale definitely weren't stronger than Goku and Vegeta from the Future Trunks saga. Well, Super Saiyan 2 Kefla was able to adapt to a Goku that was at least 100 times stronger than his beginning tournament power self. So I don't know about that, Christian. And I don't know, man. That really doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this. I don't know why this has like 30 legs. Some people here just don't know how to power scale. I think that's what it is. I'm gonna do you all turn your video into a single comment. Goku, Vegeta, I think from even Future Trunks arcs. No, this is not even like remotely true. Not even remotely true, right? That's not even remotely true. So logically, Vegeta would crush Kefla because Kale and Kefla, like I said, even in their Super Saiyan states, they were adapting to a Super Saiyan 2 Goku, who I proved that Goku in that fight was at least 100 times stronger. He could be way stronger than 100 times, by the way. It depends how suppressed he was in Super Saiyan God. Like, we don't know for sure. What? If Vegeta Blue fought Master? Yeah, this guy's getting even, like, this is some next level retarded crap. So, in the manga, yeah, it's in the manga. A manga and anime aren't the same. Intelligence, Kefla sure lacks some. Okay. Base Vegeta could hurt Fuzumasa, which is above. Let's say that Super Saiyan 2 Kefla is still 79 times Blue Goku. She's like way more than that. I'm saying a current Super Saiyan 2 Vegito would give her a good fight. Oh, current. I mean, yeah, you can make the debate for current. It's kind of cool. However, Vegito could be even stronger considering that by the end of Super Training and Zenkai's. I don't like the whole Goku Black Art characters being less than UI and Suppressed Jiren, but one could argue that, so I like to use the Vegito multiplier as greater than Super Saiyan Blue. Well, that's just headcanon. I just like to go by feats, huh? You should use it sometimes. Alright, well said. I think there's some other things you could, yeah. It's well more than just some other things. He needs to back up his entire argument. That controversial, like, statement he made, and then after that, he was just assuming Vegito's, like, power. Okay. Merge Masu versus Kefla Super Saiyan 2. Your thoughts? That's obviously one-sided. Don't even mention it, Shane. No, not Future Arc Vegito Blue. Let's see. I'll do one more. This is 2 years ago, so I'll give it a pass. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, no. No. Okay. How strong do you think the Pedo Kai isn't related to? Yeah, this is not even related. Why would I be dumb if I backed it up with feats? Okay. All right. Well, you know what? That's gonna be it for the video, guys. If you have any more questions, just leave it in the comments down below. Shane, if you want to debate me, bro, I'd be up for it. You know, a little back and forth. I mean, it'd be a pretty easy clapping for me. But anyways, you know, I know this video is like what 2 years old. Maybe his position on this topic has changed. Maybe it's not, but Shane's still, you know, a little bit weird. I saw, you know, seeing some debates with Seth, which I'll put in the description below, but he's still a little bit weird to say the least, right? All right. So, anyways, you know, I hope you guys have a good time. You know, stay out of the headcanon as always, and peace. If anyone wants to debate me on this, Discord, please DM or the server I post. All right. Goodbye.